What's going on, guys? So I'm gonna do a very special treat for you here. I'm gonna give a commentary to Phil Gott's Kill, the original movie that I made back in 2006. Yeah. So this is a commentary looking back on this Munsters theme song that I used in the opening credits for some reason, because back then I didn't know a thing about copyrighted material being in movies and fan films and stuff, and so I didn't think it was a big deal. And so I just kind of threw a bunch of copyrighted music and stuff that I thought would be fun in there. I was 16 when we made this, because we filmed it in November of 2005, and then released it in February of 2006, so I didn't know anything like that. If you listen really closely here, I used a bit of sound from the Hostel menu screen of the movie Hostel there. I don't know why. I just thought that was fun back then. Okay, so we get our lead characters here. We get to be introduced with this extremely poor quality. I don't remember what camera I filmed this on or what we had back then, but I do remember that I edited the whole movie on Windows Movie Maker. So there's an idea for you about how shitty it is and shitty the quality is. And I don't know where the original footage ever ended up. I believe I filmed it on those mini DV tapes back then. The little tapes that you could put into no, maybe they weren't the ones you could put into a bigger tape. They were just little tapes, the little I don't know, every once in a while you can still find them in drugstores and stuff in their electronics section. Totally outdated, horrible, outdated technology. But that's what I filmed it all on, and I don't know whatever happened to those. So there's no way to get the original footage, but I don't even know what the quality of the original footage looked like. I can't remember. It's been way too long, so I don't know if that would have been any better. Anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter. So the idea for Phil Gott's Kill originally... Okay, so here's a bit of a backstory for you guys. Okay, so it all started way back when my buddy Joel, who is in this movie as the emo zombie, is what he's credited as, and he's the guy in Viral Films that edited all of our good movies. So not this one. Even though it's good in its own way, but he's a master editor. He directed They Know and a couple others on the Best of Viral Films YouTube channel, so check those out. But this guy, way back when he was first figuring out editing, we just filmed random junk. We filmed just us dicking around doing whatever, and to just call it something in the computer, to edit it, to save it, or whatever. We just came up with Phil Gott's Kill for some unknown reason. That's just what we came up with. And in that, shooting test footage to figure out how to edit and show me his editing skills and whatnot, we had me with a gun, and I kill two of our friends, and they come back as zombies. And so I guess that's just how Phil Gott's Kill got associated with a zombie thing. And also, Shaun of the Dead had just came out not too long ago, and I fell in love with that movie, and it was a big thing for all of us. So Shaun of the Dead was a huge inspiration for this. And Matt Dunn, my best friend at the time, was also super into zombies and all that stuff. So it just became a zombie movie. So I just kept the title, and then I wrote what I thought would be funny, which I thought three kids just hanging out, just playing video games, and a little stupid, Dumb and Dumber kind of stupidity, just all of a sudden wind up being in the zombie apocalypse. So that's where the whole idea has come from. Now, to actually talk about what we're looking at, this is me and Kenny, William Kenny. And I don't know why I decided to make Phil an assassin. It really doesn't make any sense, because he's obviously 16 years old and is really bad at being it. But that's kind of the joke of Phil. The joke of Phil to me is that he is just as stupid as the rest of them, yet he believes himself to be superior. He thinks he's this ultimate badass, and yet he's just as dumb as the rest of the characters. Well, he might have a little bit more sense of understanding of what's going on. He knows what a zombie is. He knows how to kill it. He knows, he has this kind of sense of what's happening, but still has pretty much inability of how to handle it. So I guess character-wise, this is supposed to be Bob's house, which is Justin. He's the one that went away to pick up his girlfriend, which was his actual girlfriend at the time, which is why she's in this movie, essentially. But this is also her house. So we filmed here. Actually, we filmed this whole movie around her house. So she has a great location for this, kind of away from town a bit. And here's Vogie! Yeah, William Vogel. He is the first zombie that we see in this movie, and he plays the new character in Phil Gots Kill 2, which you guys will see soon. Obviously, this zombie character is not supposed to be the same as new character. He plays multiple characters in this universe. So, yeah. Phil Gots Kill. What can I say? Again, like, I don't really know. Like, the zombie thing came from being a fan of Shaun of the Dead and just wanting to do something fun with makeup and action and stuff like that. But beyond that, like, where the rest of it came from is just out of my 16-year-old brain. And why the Doug theme song plays here, I really couldn't tell you. I just thought it was funny. So first zombie attack happening right here. This cutaway gag is my old cat that I used to have and dog, Pumpkin and Ginger, so they make their cameo here. And there's also a callback joke to that in Phil Gots Kill 2. I wore that leather jacket a lot as a kid. I really thought it was cool. I don't know if it is or not. Maybe you can tell me. This music is also copyrighted. It is from Once Upon a Time in Mexico, actually. Because I was into all those Tarantino and Rodriguez movies. I mean, I'm still into those, but at the time, I was kind of like getting into film quite a lot, and those movies inspired me, so I threw some tracks in from those. You couldn't really see what happened there. It's not lit at all, but I picked up a video game controller and killed the zombie with it, so it's supposed to be kind of a funny thing, like they're gamers and I killed them with their controller. It doesn't really work. Not a lot of things in this movie work, but it works in a kind of a charming, I was 16 years old kind of way. So I guess that's better than nothing. Also, it is only like a 35-minute movie, so I guess that still qualifies as a short film, but if you want to call it a movie, I don't know if you can. So again, back into this horribly lit room. We didn't light it, obviously. We could have at least taken the blanket off the window to let natural light in, but of course we didn't. And then I always like this, accidentally firing off the gun and going, dude, 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 back and forth. It's pretty funny. And then this is Bree Vogt comes in. Yep, that's it. She was just there, so we used her as a zombie for a day. And it's extremely dark and hard to see and awful looking. Steven here, my buddy Steven. I picked him just very randomly one day at high school. I remember I was like, hey, I need someone to play this newscaster. Do you want to just like come over to my house after school and shoot it? And so he did. He just like came over and we just filmed it all at once real quick. And that was it. And this globe right here also makes an appearance in Phil Gots Kill 2, so look out for that. Most of this was ad-libbed, too, that he did. I did write a script for this, but there is a lot of ad-libby moments just because I'm a fan of improv when it comes to comedy, because whatever you write that might be funny, like in the moment, things are a lot funnier. Like you can come up with things on the fly a lot that suit the moment, that things you wouldn't have thought of while writing it. Tend to come back, and I kind of just like letting that fly. Like I like letting the moment just kind of take over, and usually turns out to be sometimes better than what you write. I'm not a stickler about my scripts generally, unless it's like a moment that I feel very passionate about or a line I feel very passionate about. Other than that, I really like to let the people I have in my movie just you know, figure out who their characters are themselves and then let the moment breathe. I'm not, a dictator when it comes to that. The only thing I'm kind of like a dictator about is getting things moving, because I have anxiety about like scenes being done and not having enough time to do it, and then if you don't get the scene done, you don't have enough time to get everybody back together at the same place, same location, everything. So I really stress like in between takes. I mean, there is goofing off, but I'm kind of like, okay, we did that. Let's move. Let's get this shot. Let's get this shot. Let's do this. Other than that, I'm like very kind of quick pace with shooting because I know that they're not actors. Like, these are my friends. These are not professional actors, especially at the time we were all kids. So it's important for me to just get the movie done shooting as fast as possible, because I don't know when I'm going to get the opportunity to do it again. This is Matt Dunn just dousing himself in blood for like a 30-second scene because he's a trooper like that. Matt Dunn plays two characters in this movie, I guess. He plays this zombie, and then he plays himself, zombie killer extraordinaire. This is Justin and Paige, and of course Paige is has the house that the primary location and the surrounding area, which here, this is only a couple feet from her house, but hopefully it feels like we've been walking for a little bit, and I get rid of the tie because it looks stupid, and it's so blurry and disgusting. It's ridiculous. I can't believe the quality is what it is, but you know what? It adds to the charm, so I'm not gonna get too upset about it. Like I said, we filmed this in November, so it was actually freezing cold. You can't really tell. Like, you could tell that it's fall a little bit, but you definitely can't tell how goddamn cold it was. And we didn't have jackets or anything. Or I'm sure we had them, but our characters didn't have jackets, so we couldn't wear them. That's a joke completely ripped from Saving Silverman that I hope nobody noticed, but I'd like to call it an homage, not a steal. Saving Silverman is a very underrated comedy movie, if you have not seen it. And here's Emily. Emily is also a really good friend of mine. She's Justin's sister, and she gave us the primary location for Phil Gott's Kill 2. So be on the lookout for that. Although she's not in Phil Gott's Kill 2, she helped us out quite a lot behind the scenes, so she's pretty cool. Up on the hill there, you could see Vogie and Janine filming some behind the scenes in the background. And here I had my Good, Bad, and the Ugly standoff. Again, using more copyrighted music because I was 16 and didn't give a fuck. I still don't really give a fuck, honestly, but I just won't monetize it. How about that? I'm not making any money from it, so it's okay. It's fine. It's fan parody and whatever. Matt Dunn watching in the distance. That was my idea for that. At least it didn't really turn out that way. It's kind of just like, why is he there? But I love this moment. This is one of my favorites. This whole, like, him shooting forever, like, machine gun sounds coming out of a little fake handgun. And then I love the moment afterwards where he throws the gun at her, and then she catches it and keeps walking forward. And then they're scared of her having a gun, even though he literally just used all the bullets up. That's just a gag that I love. She's, like, perfectly okay. That sad music is the beginning of a Disturbed song. More copy. I'm pointing out all the copyright music to you guys. Such a sad moment. I don't know why my character hits her in the head with the gun rather than shooting her, but there's that. But like I said, Phil is not as smart as he thinks he is, which is funny to me. I'm wearing my Metallica Master of Puppets shirt because for some reason I was obsessed with Metallica when I was a teenager. I mean, I still like them. They're a good band. But I had issues back then when it came to music. I apologize. I was a stickler for metal and metal only, and now I'm very much more open-minded. Well, metal and the Barbie Girl theme song. Those are the only two. The only things I listened to were Metallica and the Barbie Girl theme song. And Why did I have them sing this song? I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I just thought it would be funny that like they want to show off the talent that they have, and their talent is singing the most ridiculous song I could think of at the time. And I always pictured Phil Gott's Kill as being like a musical. Like if it was a big budget Hollywood film, I would have more musical numbers. Because obviously I have this, and then I have the big dance off at the end. And in my mind, that dance off is like huge with like, instead of just one Michael Jackson zombie, it's just like Thriller where there's him and then there's a whole shit ton of zombies with him and there's us. And, I don't know, I just feel like if I got the budget to do a Phil Gott's Kill movie that was like an hour and a half long, studio movie, there would be multiple musical numbers. This wouldn't just be them singing. This would be the song itself or a song, and there'd be more songs. And it's just Phil Gott's Kill in the musical. Let's put it on Broadway. Why not? Why the fuck not? Short didn't really want to scream, "Hello, Barbie, let's go party," because I can't quite remember why. I think some people were over near Paige's house that were judgmental or something. I can't remember, but I made him do it because that's how I roll. Yeah. Beautiful. Little regroup action here. We get all our characters in one place at one time finally. I say finally, this is only 16 minutes into the movie, but it's a short movie, so this is like halfway. Almost halfway, I think. He's sad, so she's got his bottle ready for him. Like any, good, girl would have a bottle ready for you. Here I just, because I only have so many friends, I have to reuse them as zombies multiple times, but it works. Now, he needs something to fight with, so he takes off his belt, his pants fall off. Then he thinks, well, if my pants come off, let me take her pants off. I don't know. It's funny, maybe. It's weirder when you think she's like 17. Actually, I don't know. It's funny. Kenny says he's going to fight with the ancient dagger of Malachor. And if I was smart enough, I would have put the actual ancient dagger of Malachor in Phil Gott's Kill 2. But I completely forgot about this joke to the last minute. And so I added it in the movie Phil Gott's Kill 2 a little bit. And here's my dad making a cameo. He didn't want to do that either. I came downstairs and I was like, Dad, can you just say, here's an extremely awesome action sequence? And he's like, why? I was like, because it's for the movie. And he's like, okay. I don't know what he thought about it, but, he did it, so there you go. Fun visual gag. Love it. This is a Metallica song playing during the action scene, of course, because I was a Metallica nerd. And talk about zombies being slow. This is like the epitome of slow. Yeah, whip it. Whip it, boy. Woo! Sexy. And he's going to break his neck. There you go. Easily dispatch of a zombie that way. And then she attacks the girl zombie with the hairdryer. And of course it works, even though it's not plugged in, because comedy. And then I'm fighting against Janine, who scratched the fuck out of my arm here. I remember that. Like, I don't know why she she did that, but she did. It's okay, though. I can take it. I like being scratched. Kenny comes up without the knife. The old take out the script gag. And Zach coming over, tired from the fight he did not fight. And then here comes Joel, the editing mastermind I told you about. I always thought this was really funny that that like the zombie starts attacking me, and then they're just watching like, hey, you go get him, get that zombie. Like no help whatsoever, you know. I broke a stick across him. You couldn't really see the stick because the quality of the video is so horrible. And then they're giving me a cheerleader support. Phil! I really should have had Short wear his Converse again. Those bright orange Converse. Such a character-defining trait. And then I'm leading him over to the lake. As you can see, I don't really need to explain the movie to you. I'm sure this music is copyrighted, but I can't remember where it's from. It might be from a zombie movie. It might be from Night of the Living Dead, maybe. Which is actually a public domain movie, so I guess it's okay to use their music. That water was freezing cold. And, okay, so here's my favorite scene in any movie ever, is where Zach takes off all his clothes and jumps into the lake. Now, he had agreed to do this way before we started filming the movie. I thought it would be funny that he thinks the zombie is drowning, so wants to go save him. And, he was down to do it, and then I remember the day of, he told me he didn't want to do it. And I was like, dude, the joke revolves around this moment. Like, you have to do it, like, whatever. And he protested, and I don't remember how I convinced him to do it. I don't know if I gave him a hand job or something. I can't remember. But I finally got him to do it, and thank God he did, because now I can watch that scene forever. There's like a lag right here that always happened. I don't know why. So here we have a boring exposition scene that you can't really hear what we're saying at all, and it's not that interesting, and it just kind of wastes time. And this is the only thing about the movie I don't really like, is this scene. Because Phil talks about being an assassin, which, like I said, is like so ridiculously unbelievable. And it doesn't really look that great going around the circle. You can see the script on the ground. There's this is just the lull of the movie that just doesn't work. I mean, it's a good idea to have the characters kind of just sit and talk for a second in the midst of everything that's going on, but it just doesn't really work at all. Zach's shirt, Dumb 2, was a thing that Zach and Joel, the editor, and our friend Bryce did. It was like kind of like a jackassy thing, although they didn't really do like a lot of stunts. They did like funny like skits and stuff. I don't know if that exists anywhere. I should contact Joel about that, because I remember them being pretty funny, except for the one where I was an asshole and I like ate chips over Zach's head when he was sleeping. I'm sorry, buddy. I love you. And it's still going. The scene's still fucking going. The scene's boring. What can I talk about? I'm wearing red Converse, which I wore because of the character Dwight in Sin City. Before the name Dwight was taken over by The Office, and now that's all people think of. But before that, Dwight was a cool badass from Sin City, played by Clive Owen, or just in the comics, the Frank Miller comics. I miss Zach's hair so much. He had such epic fucking hair. So this is the dream sequence, and he's watching Frankenstein's Daughter, which, to be fair, I never watched all the way through. I just watched the beginning of it and thought it was really dumb at the time, and so I just threw it in this movie to say that I thought it was dumb. But really, there's so many worse movies I could have used, like ones I actually like legitimately hate, but I don't know why I chose to use that one. Matt Dunn showing up again. I guess he shows up 3 times in this movie. But this isn't really Matt. This is Freddy Krueger looking like Matt. Matt also did like all the zombie makeup effects and everything. He was really good at it, and especially back in the day when we did this and Possessed. Which Possessed will probably never see the light of day again. If you own the DVD, good for you. You can watch it. Other than that, I probably will never upload it. The only way I will ever upload Possessed is if I get like an overwhelming call for it. You know, like a lot of people want to see it uploaded, but I really don't think it. I mean, it was fun to make, and I'll never dismiss the memories of making Possessed, but it's god awful. That and something me and Matt tried to make one year, which was just god awful. And yeah, I'd prefer they never see the light of day. That's why the channel is called The Best of Viral Films, because I'm only putting the good movies up here. Nut hitting yourself in the nut gags are always fun. I like when people get hit in the nuts in movies. I don't like it in real life, but I like it in movies. Yes. And this is what I had in my mind ever since I conceived of the Phil Gots Kill movie script, is that I wanted a big dance-off at the end, because I was a huge fan of Rocky Horror, and I thought the zombie thing with Michael Jackson was really fun, and I was like, these two songs are great. How funny would it be if we had a dance-off battle between these two songs? And I think it turned out pretty well. Like I said, in my mind, I'm picturing like a big-budget Hollywood dance-off that's like full of like sweeping overhead shots and lights and, you know, extras and stuff like that, and backflips and all that crazy shit. And but you know, this works too. This is fine. This is fine. Umbrella hat. Just someone had it, and I figured it shouldn't go to waste. It should be in the movie. As for some reason Phil decides to put it on for protection, but then once he realizes that this is no ordinary zombie, this is Michael Jackson. Also, I should point out this was made before Michael Jackson actually died, so there, you know, I feel like it. I feel like that makes it a little better, a little less insulting. And I know that Kenny has the "he just rapes young boys" line, which is insensitive, but you know, we're 16, so that's just the kind of humor that comes out when you're 16. I don't feel bad about it. I woke them all up by like grabbing their nipples, and I didn't tell them I was going to do that. So sorry about that, guys. He said I farted, which he's counting fart as a swear, and swear is spelled wrong. It's supposed to be. It's a joke. A lot of people didn't get that. Anytime I can make like a dopey little joke, you know, like that, that's what I do. Kyle Hickey, my friend, plays Michael Jackson, and we, no joke, like we actually like watched the Thriller music video over and over again so that he could get the dance down. So like the first couple things he does here, like before it goes into like the rape young boys line, sorry about that, before it gets into the like all this is like the actual like dance from the movie, from the video, music video. Like all this, like the head bob and the turn and going back over. So it's the real thing, you guys, just so you know. And he did a really good job. Super tight pants, and that Turtles jacket is just because that was also super tight. We just wanted him to get in the tightest clothing possible. And all this, I think right about here is where it shifts, like, of doing the actual dance, and then from here it's just kind of, yeah, the shopping cart and stuff. Like, this is just for fun, just whatever. And the lawnmower. Driving. Look at that moonwalk, though. That moonwalk is almost like on grass. That moonwalk, that was pretty damn good. You know, that's a pretty good dance scene. And the worm, and then fucking the ground. Yeah. All right, and then it's our turn. And Rocky Horror, I believe Vogie's to thank for getting us into Rocky Horror. I know Matt Dunn was also a fan of it, I think, before then. So probably those two, you know, got you into Rocky Horror. And I would love to have done the whole song, but just time, you know, like I said, I just wanted to get stuff done. And Zach here, playing the narrator character from Rocky Horror, is in our school library, and you see that girl on the computer back there. She refused to get out of the way, even though there's computers everywhere in the library, all over the place. She just chose to be on the one computer behind the desk and refused to move for the 5 minutes that we would have filmed that scene for. So she's in the background because she refused to move. I don't remember who she was, but that always annoyed me. You can use any computer, and we're only asking you to move for like 5 minutes, and she wouldn't do it. And more time warp. Just a jump to the left. We were very uncoordinated, but I think it worked. I like the. Oh, I think I missed where we were all facing each other. And then I had Kenny do the little tap dance here in a second for Columbia. Again, I would have had this do the whole thing if I had time for it. Then a step to the right. We are overwhelming him with our amazing dancing abilities. Fantastic, fan-freaking-tastic dancing abilities right here. We always know the moves. We always are synchronized. It's perfect. And then I had Zach just go crazy here. Wah! Too old. I thought that was funny. I don't have anything against Michael Jackson, alright? I like the dude. I think he made great music. I have nothing against Michael Jackson. It was just funny. I just thought it was funny. That's all. Yeah, and Zach comes through at the end. After the whole movie being, like, away from all the fighting, he comes through and defeats the final enemy. And then we're like, what's going on? And then Matt Dunn shows up. For real. Zombie killer extraordinaire. And he saves them. Yeah. And then the ending song here, Bryce Dufalo, it was dedicated to Bryce Dufalo because he was in that Phil Got Killed test footage I told you about. And then he moved away. So it was kind of just like a little bit of a honoring him kind of thing. And the song at the end of this movie, playing during the credits, is supposed to be Build You Up Buttercup. But when I uploaded it on YouTube, that was the only song out of all the copyrighted songs that was banned in all countries. You cannot upload the song Build You Up Buttercup, or else your video cannot be seen. They banned it. I uploaded the video, and that song was banned, which means like it didn't play. It didn't play for anyone. I could watch it, but nobody else could watch it. The link did not work. So I had to take that video down and then re-upload the movie on YouTube with a different ending track. And this ending track is royalty-free music, and it is actually in Phil Got Killed 2. But, it works here as well, I suppose. But not really. It should be Build You Up Buttercup. It really should be, but whatever. Yeah, and then this was just a feature on fucking Windows Movie Maker where you could show clips on the side and then do credits. So I just put clips from the movie and some behind-the-scenes stuff, which is the same thing I do in Phil Got to Kill 2. Not split screen, but I just show behind-the-scenes stuff intercut with the credits. So that's always fun. Phil Got to Kill, I consider it one of my greatest achievements because I got all my friends together and we made this movie, and it was really funny, and a lot of people seemed to like it. We premiered it at an opera house, and people came and sat just like a real movie premiere, and had a lot of laughs, and people liked it. And then we went to Arts Fest with it and everything, and it was just a good time. And I get compliments on it all the time, and honestly, it's probably the best thing creatively I've ever done, because I try to do a lot of creative things. I try to write, and I try to make videos and YouTube and everything, and most stuff doesn't work out, but this one was just one that people really liked and thought was funny, and I was really grateful for that. Now, there wasn't an idea for a sequel really, like, at all back then. It was kind of just like, okay, we managed to make this. Let's not, I didn't really think about it until a few years ago. So now you have a second one to look forward to. So, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my little 2018 commentary on this little movie that we made, and I hope you enjoy it. And look forward to the second one, which is going to be coming out pretty soon. Alright. I'm just going to talk to the end because I hate those commentaries that end and then there's just like silence. Oh yeah, and this is just a little end clip I put in of the end of them singing Barbie Girl and being completely exhausted afterwards. Because it was exhausting.